I think too often in our society, we get shown a false image of what success looks like. And when I say success, it could be learning a new skill, it could be living a more balanced life, it could be relationship success, health success, career success. Really depends on your definition of the word success. But why I say that is that very often the image that we get broadcast to us is one of perfection. It's like, I'm getting this thing right. This is how you do it. I'm the expert. And sorry for you, you're probably getting it wrong, but this is what you should be doing. I don't know if you can relate to that. I certainly can. I sometimes when I listen to experts and they portray this absolute like perfection, like they're always getting it right. They know what to do, they're in complete control, at least that's the perception they create. It leaves me feeling inadequate. It takes away hope of actually ever getting to that level, because it's now, well, that's where I should be, but I'm not. And then we start beating ourselves up because we're not there. And I just think that's so unhelpful. And that's why I will always say, I don't get all these things that I share on these videos are things I'm grappling with. I get them wrong. I stuff them up big time at times. It's not about getting them perfect. It's not about achieving that perfection. It's about progress. And that progress can sometimes come from stuffing it up, from going, whoa, okay, I really messed that up. And I reflect back on it and then think, okay, what should I have done, or what could I have done differently? And constantly striving to improve. And I think it's the intention of getting it right. But it's not just the intention of getting it right in the form of, well, I hopefully will get this right. It's like, I'm committed to this. You know, are you really committed to changing, learning, growing, adopting a new skill, changing a behavior? Are you really committed to it? Because a decision is when you are 2 feet in. Its decision comes from the word scission, which is to cut. Decision, to cut away. Are you cutting away other options? You're absolutely committed. And I'll be vulnerable and share what I'm busy working on now is developing my active listening skills. I am very good at listening in my work environment, but I'm not yet very good at listening in my personal life. And I've recognized that this is something that I absolutely have to prioritize, because active listening shows that you care and it builds trust, because people feel heard. And that's the key. It's not just listening, it's making people feel heard. And I realized that one of the things that, what was the difference between work and home were 2 things. At work I had no distractions. At home there's lots of stuff going on around, kids and dogs and TV and everything else. And so the first thing is now what I'm focused on is starting to remove those distractions so that I can fully concentrate and listen. The second thing, if I'm honest, is a little bit of complacency in my home life. It's like I'm sharp at work and then at home I'm like relaxed. But actually it's these important relationships that we should be prioritizing these skills. So what I wanted to share here, just in terms of getting things right and sometimes feeling like you're not getting things right, is that there are times where I catch myself and I go, you just did not listen there. You were distracted, you didn't pay attention. And then there are times where, okay, cool, in that conversation I really made that person feel heard. And it's important to know that that's part of the learning process. We don't just go from understanding a skill or understanding something, a concept, and then building the skill, and it's like one step, now I'm getting it right. Because I think if we think that way, then what happens is, well, first of all, we're setting ourselves up for failure, because that's not how, even neurologically, that's not how it works. You know, the little connections in the brain and kind of like touch together, like, you know, and then with practice they start to wire together, and then it's still got to become habit. So it takes time for us to really develop habits and consistency around certain skills, and in the process of getting there we kind of go back and forth. We get it right sometimes, we mess it up sometimes. But if you don't understand that, then it's easy to get hard on yourself and go, I'm messing this up, I should be better. And this is where experts are not helpful, because they give the impression that they are getting this right so consistently, and you're not. And so we start creating that comparison instead of going, hey, even the experts get it wrong, they just might not tell you. So don't beat yourself up about something. It's not about getting it right first time. It's not about perfection. It's about progress, and it's about commitment. Are you committed to getting it right? And if you're committed to getting it right, then you must recognize you're going to mess it up sometimes. And that's not a backward step. That's actually a forward step, but it feels like a backward step. And it's important to recognize that even when you're messing it up, but you're aware of what you're messing up, you're like halfway there. It's 10 steps ahead of messing it up and not knowing you're messing it up, and then blaming something or someone else because you didn't get the result that you want. So be kind to yourself in the practical sense. Be kind to yourself when you're learning something new. Decide whether you're really committed to getting it right, to developing the skill or building the skill. And if you are, then recognize that it is a bit of a back and forth process of getting it right, messing it up, getting it right, messing it up, until such time as that starts to become habit.